You know
Listen to
how
me, everyone.
everybody always
We
figures the
must
guy
finish
who
the
saves
harvest
the
before the
whole
rains
village
come.
has
Or
to
we
be
will
the
listen
loudest
closely,
one
my people.
yelling orders
We must
and
secure the
waving his
village
arms
now.
around.
To your
Yeah,
posts,
well,
everyone,
drop that
quickly,
idea
before
right
they
now.
arrive.
In this story, the hero couldn't say a single word his whole life, and it was those quiet hands on a pair of drums that kept an entire village from getting wiped out in the middle of the night. Picture this: you're standing on a low ridge just behind the village of Afikpo out in the Igbo hills. The sun is dropping fast, turning the cassava fields gold and red. Dust from the Harmattan wind is still hanging in the air, and you can taste it on your tongue. There's this 12-year-old kid named Boma sitting cross-legged in the dirt with a small practice drum between his knees. His fingers move fast, tapping out rhythms that sound almost like words. But when he opens his mouth, nothing comes out. Never has. The other kids are chasing goats down the path, laughing and shouting, and they wave at him like he's just the quiet boy who plays with sticks. Nobody stops to really listen. You shift your feet, and the dry grass crackles under you. Down in the village square, the women are pounding cassava, smoke from cooking fires drifting up, and you hear laughter from
This
the
land
men
belongs to my
finishing
fathers.
up
We cannot
a
let them
land
take
talk.
it. I understand.
Boma's
But the boundary
grandfather,
was
Old
marked
Eze,
generations.
is the only one who ever really got it. He's the master drummer around here, and years ago he carved Boma a pair of real talking drums from sacred wood. The kid was 5 then. Eze told him straight, the ancestors
These
didn't take
drums
your
carry the
voice. They
voices
gave
of
you
our
one that
ancestors,
travels farther
Boma.
than any mouth can
You
shout.
must listen closely
And
when they
Boma
speak.
believed him. Those drums became everything to him. While the other
Hold on
boys
tight like
learned to
this.
wrestle or hunt birds, Boma sat under the big Iroko tree every evening, hands flying, sending messages across the hills that the grown-ups mostly smiled at and forgot about 5 seconds later. But this particular evening, something feels off. You're right there with you're right. Boma on the ridge, when his fingers suddenly freeze mid-beat. The birds that should be settling down for the night have gone dead quiet. Then you feel it too, this faint tremor coming through the ground, and way off past the tall elephant grass, you catch the tiniest glint of metal, spear, and low voices carrying on the wind. 20 men from the rival hills are creeping closer under the cover of darkness. They've been watching the village. They know everybody's tired from last night's festival. Bellies full, no sentries posted, granaries stuffed with the harvest. They are planning to hit at first light when the whole place is still sleeping heavy. Boma doesn't wait. You see him scoop up his little drum and start running down the path toward the village, bare feet kicking up dust. His heart is pounding so hard you can almost hear it over the wind. He bursts straight into the middle of the square where lanterns are still glowing from the festival, and Chief
You cannot
Nwanko
just
is
take my
settling
land.
It is not
some
your land,
small
it is
argument
silence.
about
Silence.
farmland.
I have
Boma
listened
grabs the
patiently
big
since.
talking drum his grandfather made, the one that can carry a message for miles. His hands slam down, high low, high low. The rhythm says danger from the north. Men with spears, everybody come quick. A
How does
couple
it
of
work?
kids stop their game and tilt
I
their
think
heads.
it goes here.
An old woman by the fire chuckles and goes back to stirring her pot. The chief barely glances over and waves a hand like he's brushing away a fly. Let the mute boy play, he says. We've got real matters tonight. You're standing right there in the square now, feeling the tension start to build in your own chest. Boma doesn't quit. He moves to the exact center where the firelight hits him, sweat already beading on his forehead, and he pours everything he's got into those drums. The beat gets faster, sharper, calling out the names of the neighboring villages in the old drum language his grandfather taught him. It It's like he's shouting without a voice, telling them raiders are coming, help is needed. Old Izzy is watching from the edge of the crowd. The old man's eyes widen because he understands every single beat. He shuffles over, grabs his own drum and jumps in. Now, there are two of them, grandfather and grandson. The rhythms rolling out across the hills like thunder that nobody else quite catches yet. The thing is, the village is still half asleep from the festival. People are yawning, kids are nodding off against their mothers, and the men are leaning on their spears, talking about tomorrow's planting. Outside on that northern ridge, you can't quite see from the square. The first faint orange glow of the enemy torches starts to flicker through the grass. It's maybe an hour before dawn. The air feels heavier, like the night itself is holding its breath. Bomi's arms are burning, but he keeps going. Faster now, the drums almost begging the village to wake up. You feel the stakes sitting right in your stomach. This place has maybe 300 people. Farms full, cattle fat and slow. Kids running everywhere. One raid and it all goes up in smoke. Homes burned, food stolen, families dragged off, and nobody posted a single guard because they trusted that
Today,
peace treaty
we bury the
from
hatchet.
3 seasons back.
Let there be peace
You're right in the
between
middle
our
of it
villages.
now, heart picking up speed with the drums. Chief Nwanko keeps trying to ignore it, pride sitting heavy on his shoulders, because admitting the mute kid might be right would make him look weak in front of everybody. But the drums don't stop, they roll out stronger, calling for help from the next village is over. Ez's voice finally cracks through the chatter. He's speaking the old tongue.
He's speaking the
man
old
shouts.
tongue.
Listen to
Listen
the boy.
to the boy.
A few more heads turn.
Stay right here.
Mothers
by me,
pull
don't
their
move.
babies closer without knowing why.
Keep quiet now.
The
Look
first
over
grey light of dawn is creeping over the hills. You can see the silhouettes now. 20 dark shapes with spears moving down the ridge straight toward the sleeping village. Boma's hands are a blur. The rhythm hits this fever pitch that cuts through everything. You're standing there, feeling the ground almost vibrate under your feet. And then it happens. The first raiders crest the ridge, expecting easy picking. And right at that moment, the village finally snaps awake. Men are grabbing spears and machetes. Women are hurrying kids toward the sacred
battle
grove.
line.
And from 3 neighboring villages, you hear answering drums rolling back across the hills. Reinforcements are already on the move because Boma's message got through. The raiders walk straight into a wall of shouting warriors and blazing torches. Steel clashes, torches swing, shouts fill the air. It's short, it's fierce, dust flying everywhere, but nobody from the village dies. 3 men get caught, but they'll heal. The raiders break and run, leaving their torches scattered in the grass and their pride in
They
the
will
dirt.
not return.
You're breathing hard just watching it.
Look,
The sky is
the sun
turning
is
pink
rising.
now, and the square is
We
full
made
of
it through the
people
night.
staring at this boy who
Is
never
everyone
said a word.
accounted for?
Chief
Today,
Nwanko walks straight
we
over,
witnessed the dawn
kneels
of a
down
new
in the
leader.
dust in front of
The
Boma,
future is
and
yours,
takes the
my
white
son.
eagle feather from his own
Receive
head
this
and
feather, my
places
son,
it on the
a
kids.
symbol of your bravery
You
and
are
honor.
the voice of Afikpo, he says, loud enough for everyone to hear. The whole village starts cheering. They spend the next week strengthening
celebrate
the
our
alliances with
heritage.
the neighbors, posting permanent
Listen
drum
closely,
sentries on the
children.
ridges,
The drum
and teaching
speaks
every child the
our
language
history.
of the talking drums so nobody ever gets caught sleeping again. Boma never did get the power of speech, never needed it. For decades after that night, his rhythms carried the news, the celebrations, the warnings, everything the village needed. And sometimes, on quiet nights when the moon is just right, the elders say those same drums still show faint marks on the wood that glow a little. like the ancestors left their fingerprints right where Boma's hands were moving that night. The boy who couldn't speak ended up being the loudest thing the hills had ever had, and the village is still there because of it.